guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, "Neighbor burned down my fence and set my trash on fire. I sued her and destroyed her in court." TLDR. Neighbor tries to save money by setting his trash on fire. Starts the fire right next to my wooden fence and burns it down. I sue him because he thinks I should be the one to pay for it and loses. I ended up with a new fence and he paid hundreds if not thousands of dollars instead of $100 to remove the trash. In all the years that I lived at this home I saw many neighbors come and go. Some were pleasant and some I never really had contact with. Nothing prepared me for this neighbor that moved in next door to me. There isn't really a nice way to say this, and I honestly don't care about being polite about them. They were total slobs. Now I believe what you do in your house is your business, but when you bring your mess outside it affects everyone around you. They would constantly be drinking and having friends over in their backyard but were never being that noisy. The problem became their trash and what they would do with it. Beer cans and food wrappers would be thrown around and even started to make their way onto my property. Obviously, I was not happy about this and was going to do something about it. Now some might ask me why I didn't just talk to the neighbor and tell them that their trash was getting on my property. Well, I did several times. Each time I was told that he would take care of it and then nothing ever happened. So, I had a wooden fence built on the property line between the two houses instead. This actually seemed to stop the problem and I no longer had to see the mess that was their backyard. My guess though is that as their mess grew the town eventually got sick of the eyesore and told them they had to get rid of all the trash that accumulated over the last couple of years. Yes, you read that right, they had been dumping trash in their yard for 2 full years. Now like most places we do have trash pickup on certain days of the week. My guess is that the amount of the trash even in bags would have been too much and needed a special pickup. If you have too much trash like you clean out a garage or something, you can pay them like $100 to come and pick it up. It's a pain, but it's usually cheaper than a private disposal company. I never found this out for sure, but if I had to guess I would say that the next thing happened because they wanted to be cheap and get rid of it themselves. This would end up costing them so much more than the simple $100 would have been. They piled all of their trash into a big heap and decided to set it on fire to get rid of it. I wish I could say that the sight of the fire was the first thing that grabbed my attention, but it was really the smell. I don't know what stuff they burned, but I have never smelt anything worse in my life. That's when I went out and saw that my fence was on fire. I have no idea why they decided to set it on fire so close to the property line, but I was definitely angry that the fence was being destroyed. I was also more worried about the fire spreading even further and immediately called 911 to get some help. Soon fire trucks arrived, and they were able to put out the smoldering garbage before it did any further damage. Neither house got any damage, but my fence was absolutely destroyed. I didn't want to eavesdrop on what the fire brigade was telling my neighbor, but I knew that I needed to speak to them next. I tried my best at first to hold in my anger because I know that sometimes people make stupid choices. Me. So, the cost of getting the fence remains removed and then a new one installed is going to cost at least a few $100s. Neighbor. Why are you telling this to me? Me. Well, because you started the fire that burned it down and damaged it. Neighbor. So, what? It's your fence and you are responsible for it. I was angry that he didn't want to take any responsibility for the fence, and from my past encounters I knew that I was getting nowhere. So, I decided to start a civil lawsuit to get the money back for the damaged fence. I knew it would take a while though, so I spent money out of my own savings to have the old one removed and new one put in. For months I swear I could still smell that horrid odor from their lawn. When it finally came time to meet in court, I brought with me how much everything cost for the repairs, pictures of the damaged fence, the report from the fire department, and of course pictures of the smoldering trash. The neighbor walked in looking so cocky like he was going to win immediately. Once I explained what I was suing for, it was his turn to speak. Neighbor. Your Honor, there is no reason that I should pay for that fence. It is his fence on his property. If anything, he should be the one paying me for putting it up. It was emotionally damaging to see my neighbor put up a fence between the two of us when we were getting along so well. The fence had no purpose and a new one had ever less. I was ready to defend why I had built the fence in the first place, but the judge beat me to it. Judge. There is no reason that a fence couldn't be built on his property. From what I have been given, both the old and new fence are within regulation. Do you have the bill for the new fence? Me. Yes, Your Honor, it was $478 to get rid of the remains and build the new fence. Neighbor. It's his fence though. If I'm going to pay for a fence, then it should be mine. Judge. You are paying for it because your own reckless actions caused the first one to be burned down. The report says you started a garbage fire in your own backyard and that is what started the fire. I am granting in favor of the plaintiff if the amount of $478. The neighbor was in complete shock that he actually lost despite it being very clear that I would have won from the start. My revenge didn't stop there though, and I ended up calling the town anonymously about a strange smell. When they arrived and saw that the mess of half-burnt garbage was still there, they weren't happy. Apparently, they had been told it still needed to be clean, and since it was in their backyard, they were getting away without doing it. That one call though caused the town to have someone come and remove it at the cost of neighbor, and the smell finally subsided. There was one last cherry on top that I didn't even know until I was told by someone else. When the neighbor suddenly disappeared, I didn't know why for months until I found out that setting your trash on fire is actually illegal, and between the money he owed me, the town, legal fees, and fines, he fell back on his mortgage and had to move out. The new people that moved in are super nice and I talk to them over the fence all the time. They ended up redoing the entire backyard and it looks amazing. You would never believe that the people who lived there before them had it as such a mess. The next story is titled, Not Home? Fine, we'll just break in and change the locks. This isn't me asking for legal advice, nor is it me asking for help of any kind. I'm just irritated and needed a place to vent. Well, I moved into a community with a homeowner association run by a management company in March of 2020. I think majority of the owners are actually investors who live outside of the state/country. I'm renting and overall, the experience has been fine. Trash is picked up, neighbors are friendly, and the grounds get maintained decently. So, call me surprised when I get a note on my door stating that insurance adjusters are going to be going door to door on Friday, which was only 3 days away, and if they couldn't access the apartment, they'd use a locksmith to get in. I'd then have to go to the clubhouse to pick up a new key. They'd be looking for damage on the inside of the units caused by Hurricane Irma, which was a hurricane that hit 3 years ago. I don't think that's legal, but I've been trying to get my hands on another copy of the bylaws. For some reason I don't have them on hand. Probably lost in move. I called my landlord, they don't have it. I called the homeowner association and they told me they'd send it, but never did and have been avoiding my calls since. When I read through the rules, I never saw anything that was very sketchy like that, so I genuinely don't know if I signed and gave permission for them to basically break in if they needed access to my apartment. But yeah, so now I have to take the day off to be home, so they don't force their way into my apartment, and I'm not exactly happy about it. Quick update if anyone is interested, skeptical smiley face. I never did get the bylaws, as the company said it cost $100 for the full package. They explained it was because insurance companies were refusing to pay for water and moisture issues, and they were trying to get a payout to fix it. I didn't mind and just stayed home. Well, come at 8 a.m. when I'm still sleeping, I get a call from my roommate that the adjusters are here. They said they'd be starting at 9 a.m. I know it's just an hour, but I wasn't dressed properly, my dog wasn't put up, and I didn't even get a chance to brush my teeth before I had someone asking me if they could take pictures in my bedroom. Thanks everyone for letting me rant. I really do appreciate and didn't expect how much interaction this post would get. The next story is titled, Remove Snow from Sidewalk. This last weekend we had a snowstorm, and my wife and I were out of town taking care of my parents. We want to make sure they were okay before the storm. Our plan was to come back and shovel the snow. Wife and I spent yesterday shoveling our driveway first so we can park our car and take stuff out of the car safely. It was a lot of snow. We decided to stop for the day since we had some work things to take care. Woke up this morning to nasty email telling us clear out snow from sidewalk because a single person couldn't walk on it. I explained to him we were out of town due to family emergency. His response was, "Thank you. My neighbor saw me doing the sidewalk and asked if I got a nasty email." We talk and he basically told them to go to hell. His wife just had surgery and had gotten back yesterday. So basically, neither of us had planned to be away for the storm. And it was obvious neither of us were home. I would have no problem if whoever complained to homeowner association came directly to me. We pay homeowner association so they can take care of this crap. They don't do crap. Sorry, just needed to rant. I'm probably just being petty. Edit. I forgot to mention, the snowplows dump 50% of the street snow directly on top of the sidewalk. So, if we get 12 to 15 inches of snowfall, sidewalk can easily be 2 to 3 feet. I still don't know if homeowner association hired them or someone from the neighborhood. The Transparent Homeowner Association reports don't mention any snow removal. The next story is titled, Homeowner Association Messed Up Big Time Ada. Okay, so where to begin? I have been in a battle with my homeowner association for months. This whole mess started when I suspected a board member of receiving kickbacks on jobs. I and a few homeowners set up a sting operation. A family friend is a licensed contractor and put in a bid for work. The president invited him over, and during the conversation the president bluntly said any job approval requires a 10% overbid deposit if you want the work. He did record on his phone, but because we are in a two-party consent state it couldn't be used. We have sent numerous requests for financial records and have been stonewalled for months. The owner of the property management company is in on the scam as well. I and 5 other concerned homeowners have been stonewalled time and time again. We finally banded together, got a lawyer, and of course COVID hits and the courts are closed. So, 3 weeks ago I had a major operation affecting my ability to walk. I am wheelchair bound temporarily. I submitted a request for an accommodation of a ramp I would pay for. These are individual houses and would have zero encumbered on any other homeowner in the community. Homeowner association of course denies the request. Reason? Homeowner has not proven they are disabled. A note from the surgeon was sent over. Denied. Reason? Homeowner association called doctor's office. Doctor does not exist. Homeowner is making false claims. You can't make this crap up, right? So, I say duck it and put the ramp up. Board member decides to put brick pavers in front of the ramp with caution tape on it and a note saying unapproved. Lawyer reached out to board one last time before filing and accidentally got a reply meant for the other board members. I'm going to ducking get him. He's lying and just trying to be a pain in our butt. Let's just keep denying the requests. We're the mother ducking board, we set the rules and what we say goes. Judge grants injunction and is trespassed from my property. I sort of forgot about the whole thing. Board has been leaving me alone. Until today when 2 board members came banging on my door telling me they are going to kill me. Thanks Ring for recording it all. Yelling how they will make me permanently crippled. So, turns out the community's insurance company refused to pay the legal bills. They were also not indemnified because it was done with malice. The 2 board members are on the hooks for almost $9,000 in legal fees plus $35,000 in punitive damages. Apologies for formatting in the rant, I'm still a bit loopy from the meds. Duck these sorry losers, no life nosy mother duckers. The next story is titled, Local Neighborhood a Whole Thinks Assigning Parking Spots to Houses That Don't have Garages is Giving Those People an Unfair Advantage. I live in a townhome community with 3 types of houses. 2-car garage, 1-car garage, no garage. I personally have no skin in the game since I bought one with a 2-car garage. The homeowner association in my neighborhood recently got handed over to the community from the developer. The homeowner association board's first point of action is to start assigning parking. They said those with garages are not entitled to street parking and must use their garage and driveway. Those with no garage get assigned 2 surface spots. So, this local neighborhood a whole goes on a rant and says that giving guaranteed parking to those without a garage is unfair because it will alter the home values in the neighborhood. He states he paid a premium to have a garage, which is true, I did too, and it's not fair that people who cheaped out will have their houses be worth more as a result of guaranteed parking. It's just such a dumb argument. I personally don't care because I only exclusively use my garage and the assigned surface parking doesn't affect me at all. I think the people getting mad are ones that have multiple families, aka renters, and 3 to 4 plus cars per unit that now won't be able to park freely on the street. The last story is titled, Why Must Homeowner Association Approve the Building of a Wheelchair Ramp? What I really don't get is why there isn't some blanket exemption that makes it so those of us with disabilities who are dependent on walkers or wheelchairs can build a ramp to our front door without having to wait for the board to approve the design. It's not as though this is a luxury. We are closing on a new-to-us home at the end of the month and we already know that it will entail building a long ramp, 47 linear feet, because we have a drop of over 16 inches from the porch to the driveway. The crazy thing is that even though we've already had the engineer out to survey the area and figure out where to build it, we can't even file the paperwork until after we close on the loan, and then they have somewhere between 30 calendar days and 30 business days for them to decide, all before I can build the ramp. It's a damn good thing that I am not completely confined to my power chair, because if I were I would be in major trouble. Until we get the ramp built, I will only be able to get my chair as far as the garage, possibly the utility room, if Medicaid ever replaces a ramp that was stolen last October, yes, as in October 2020. I'm very fortunate that my current home is very accessible, and I can get in with only a very short ramp that was left by the thieves. It falls in the category of ridiculous. We move in on November 7th, but I probably won't have a real ramp until Christmas or possibly into the new year. They ask for a ton of elevations showing the proposed changes from all angles. They better just be happy with the plans for the ramp, because a charity, Texas Ramp Project, is stepping up to provide all the supplies and lumber etc. to build it, as well as expertise and assistance with the actual building of the ramp. They do incredible things with a very tight budget. Sorry for the rant, but it's just frustrating. Thanks for listening.